Welcome to WSABE 2014, Webinar 2, Challenges for Small Business. This is hosted by Champion Legal. I'm Michelle Forrester, General Manager at Champion Legal and representative of Parramatta Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to welcome our guests today for this webinar series. I have with me Veronica De Paoli, Senior Business Advisor from University of Western Sydney Small Business Connect. Welcome, Veronica.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
And welcome to Ronak Shah from Onroad Driving School, Founder and CEO. Welcome, Ronak.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I appreciate that.
Today's webinar agenda is an update on our WSABE countdown. We're going to hear more from Ronak as the 2013 winner for this category. And challenges for small business. We're going to do a bit of an overview today using the knowledge that Ronak has gathered on his business from his award-winning 2013 entry and from our expert panellist in Veronica De Paoli from Small Business Connect. Just a reminder that the key dates for WSABE coming up are entries open on 1st of May and entries close June 26th, and we'll be hosting these webinars every Wednesday afternoon from 4 p.m. and happy to take your questions prior to the webinars on our Facebook support group, which we'll tell you more about at the end of the webinar. Don't forget to put in your diary the Gala Awards Night, August 22. A reminder to our sponsors listening in today that we've got our event launch at Dooley's on April 2nd. And Ronak, will you be joining us at the special launch this year?
I will be coming, yeah, for sure. It's it's on 2nd of April. You should be fine.
Yeah.
Is it in the afternoon or evening?
It'll be in the evening. It'll be a great opportunity for all the sponsors to meet with all our past award winners. And hopefully you'll be able to come along too, Veronica. The invites just went out this afternoon, so make sure if you're coming along and you're on that guest list that you RSVP ASAP. Then we'll get on to our agenda for today, challenges for small business. So, Ronak, you're a successful small business person. You're the winner of our Starting a Small Business category in 2013 for WSABE. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in your business.
As a driving school, we're pretty young in the business. We've only been in the market for 5 years. We have 20 trainers working for Onroad Driving School now. And when we started, we never thought about that we can do this, we can do that. It just comes from the experience. But I really believe that all these awards and to enter in the award, it's one of the big achievements as well. Because when you get finalists or when you get a winner, it really helps the business, the team, the morale of the business, the professionalism, what people can see as a customer's point of view that, okay, you won an WSABE award, so you must have something different than your competitors. And people try that, and when people try, they see the different quality. And obviously, as a winner, we can see the big difference what we had in 2012 and what we are now.
Excellent. And so you've been entering awards, quite a number of awards since the beginning of your business?
Yeah, we entered last 3 times, and fortunately, we won in 2013. We won a couple of other different business awards as well, as a local business awards as well, and Business Achievers Award as well. We, in fact, advertise, and that's our business tagline, as a Sydney's #1 award-winning driving school. We really promote awards in a way that, guys, if you want to try something, if you are searching on the internet, what people are expecting, that's a USP. That's one of our unique selling points, that what people are looking. Now, when people compare 3 different businesses and why they want your business to pick compared to other 2 competitors, they look at the quality, they look at the consistency of your business, they look at how old your business is, and they look at the awards as well. Now, when people see that we won the highest award in any categories in driving school business in New South Wales now, they can see that business, let's say that. And when they come on our website, that's our first intention, to come to our website. They can look what we are doing differently, and they try us. And when they try, they can see that, oh, definitely we are an award-winning driving school.
So very early on, you've used awards to help drive your business challenges, and you've used that to your advantage in promoting your business. Veronica, Would you recommend this strategy for many businesses getting started to enter awards?
I think entering awards is always a good thing for a business to do if they feel ready to do so. Often it's an opportunity to stop and reflect on the business, update your business planning, look at your business holistically, and depending on the nature of the entry, the requirements, will often get you to look at your business in a different way. So similar to Ronak, I think every time one of my businesses has entered awards in the past, there was always a question in there, something for me to look at, to reflect upon, to focus on, that was a little bit new and quite useful for us in our own planning.
And you're also an award winner, aren't you, Veronica, having won 3 years in a row, I believe, of the Nepean Business Awards?
That is correct, and I have a very ugly front page photo of a local newspaper to prove it.
Excellent.
Yes, and it was really worth the time and the effort. Our category changed over time. We were a children's pediatric therapy service, and the category changed slightly over the years, and sometimes we were up against very big names, big franchises, such as Fitness First, for example, and we were still able to take home that award even against some very strong competition with bigger marketing budgets and more resources than we certainly had.
Great. Okay. What we'll do now is we'll move on in the agenda to our key areas of your business plan. Now, from previous discussions with both of you, I understand that doing an award entry, such as the starting a small business category for WSABE, you wouldn't necessarily address every single issue in each of these sections for your category entry, but it might be useful as part of this webinar today in Challenges for Small Business that we discuss some of these topics, and it might ignite some ideas for people out there listening who are looking to enter the small business category. So some of the key areas of your business plan which we'll discuss today are marketing, finance, people and resources. Let's start with marketing. So obviously an important part of your marketing strategy, Ronak, has been defining a target market. Can you explain a little bit about how you've come to the realisation of who your key client is?
As a driving school, when we started the business, we always think it's a young people who wanted to have a driving lesson from age 17 to 25. So heaps of time we used to advertise in the schools, on the local newspaper, where the young people target the ads and those kind of things. But then later on, we realized that there is people, they're still looking for the lessons, like a parents for looking for their son and daughters. For grandfather, they want to give a gift for the niece and nephews, grandkids as a birthday present. So we change our target audience later on, but really important that we target the proper market. We used to advertise on our different medias as well, but again, I'm coming back to this award. This award's really saving our cost in marketing as well, because rather than we give it one television advertisement or one on the radio, they roughly cost you around $10,000 to $15,000 for 30 seconds. Now with this award, the way we market is as a winner, people can easily see that what the difference of marketing media we're using. So it's a very cost effective. We're targeting the market and we're creating a branding in a way that we are the highest award winning driving school. So we representing, there are so many things with just a one business name. So when people look at that, we want to keep in their heart that, guys, there is an Onroad Driving School. So even in 10 years time, if you're looking for a driving school, it's better to call somebody that it stays in your heart, not on the television for 30 seconds.
That's lovely. And Veronica, how did you find the awards help you in terms of referrals or leads? Or did you find that you were able to use the awards in a different way that wasn't necessarily to generate more income when it came to marketing?
Well, if I take off my advisor hat and put on my business owner hat, then really that's what it was all about primarily, was generating those leads and generating revenue and building business. But it also added a layer of, I suppose, kudos, if you will, or credibility keep in mind that the last business that I started up and built, being a paediatric therapy service, my main target market is obviously parents, although end users or end recipients of the service are children, but schools and parents were our main target market. So when you start winning awards, there is an immediate association with, again, standing out from the crowd. Why has this business won over these other businesses? And it adds a layer of respect, a source of conversation as well. And you know what, most importantly for my staff, because I think at that stage, that arm of the business had probably about 7 staff. It's a great motivational tool. We celebrate success together, and they're just as proud of the award as the business owner. So that's important to remember as well. It's very motivating.
And with your business advisor hat on, one of the biggest challenges for small businesses is the sales cycle. What advice would you have for our listeners regarding that?
That's a big question. I was going to take my marketing discussion in a different direction, but in regards to the sales cycle, I think the most important thing, or the most important message I can give to a business within the context of a business plan is to think about documenting, becoming regimented, understanding your sales cycle. And in documenting that, you can see how you generate leads at the very top level. So what are all the ways in which people are finding out about us, including awards, which is one way to do that at the top level. And then if we think of it like the old-fashioned sales funnel, as we engage people, understanding how that communication process occurs, that engagement back and forth to the point where a sale is made. And then certainly in the case of my business in the past and many businesses, the importance of keeping people in that funnel and the importance of repeat sales. So from a sales cycle point of view, it's understanding the length of the cycle, the type of cycle, and documenting that process, which then improves the way in which you practice your sales and influence your marketing.
That's great advice, because from my understanding of certain aspects of our application forms for WSABE this year, obviously that sort of detail of how people have been able to improve their sales cycle or whichever process it is that they're investigating as part of their application, that's very good advice to assist with that. The next point we've got is, sorry?
I just said that's great news.
Yes. So with the next step of our marketing discussion, we've got a little bit of commentary around developing a plan and market research. So from the beginning of your business, Ronak, did you plan all of this activity around the awards? Were you inspired by other businesses around you, or did you just fall into this naturally?
Yeah, I remember around 10 years back, I was looking for a local pizza shop. We passed by that shop a couple of times, but I didn't remember the name. I was looking on the internet and I saw the same photos of the shop front on the website, and it says award-winning pizza 2001 or 2002 winner. And I remember, okay, that's the same shop. I've been passing by a couple of times. So I ordered the pizza over the phone, and great, I really like the quality. Now, obviously, that award stays in my mind when I looked at the website. And from that point, when we started the business, I really wanted to be different in the market. Now, as a driving school category, there are not many businesses they're really keen to go on these awards, and there are not many driving schools that they're really kind of promoting the awards in a way that customers can feel the difference. So yeah, from the year one, since we started the plan, we planned that awards would be one of the marketing agenda. We planned this business. I used to be a Formula One driver when I was pretty young, so driving is my passion. So that's the reason I created the plan of the driving school. And after having the entry in the award first time, I remember I put nearly 7 to 8 days of my work in just entry, all the questions and answers. But that my 7 days hard work is still paying me off now.
Excellent. And so obviously a bit of market research around the pizza shop certainly inspired you in how you could move your business forward in developing your plan. What other recommendations would you have for people, Veronica, in the areas of marketing and market research? I know you're an advocate for it. Obviously looking at other competitors and finalists that have been in the past years on the WSABE website would be a great opportunity for people to delve into who they might be up against in the category.
Yes, absolutely. Look, market research, if I can step back a little bit and think of it in a broader context, market research is helping you in that phase where you're still asking the question around feasibility. Will this idea work? And if it's going to work, how will it work? It keeps you externally focused from your business, which is incredibly important. And interestingly, just tomorrow, I'm going to be delivering a business planning workshop. And one of the videos I've got to show the participants is around business planning mistakes. And interestingly, one of those mistakes is not looking external to the business, to your competitors, not only from a point of view, I suppose, of what they're doing, but what they can teach you, what you can learn from them, and how that helps you position your business in the marketplace.
Excellent. So it's interesting that quite often we might think that our next topic, finance, is the beginning of starting a business and looking at a plan, but looking at the feasibility of a business from the marketing point of view is very strong, as well as from the financial point of view. So marketing, certainly a challenge for small businesses. Now with finance, that's often the big push for many, many small businesses, and as we know, many small businesses fail in the first few years of their existence because of the issues that we can see on our screen now: cash flow, managing costs, taxation, and business compliance. Now, with your award entry, Ronak, because yours was such a general category of starting a small business, how much do you believe the questioning in this section of your award entry helped drive your business further?
Finance is one of my favorite subjects, and I just say one thing with the cash flow. What we used to spend in our marketing and advertisement money 4 years back, we're spending half of the money now in marketing. What we used to earn and have a profit at that time 4 years back, we're nearly 10 times more now. So I can only say that the cash flow is very, very important factor of the business. But from the day one, you can't have a positive cash flow from the day one. You need to put your efforts. You need to put something on that you know that it will give you a returns for sure. I mean, in the business, it's important that you need to take a calculated risk. Now, it's like we're taking a risk for a big cash flow in a way to promote, to brand your company, to sell your company in the market that you can achieve after 2 years. And this is the reason that more than half of the business collapse in Australia after 2 years or within 2 years, because they do not have a positive cash flow. So cash flow has to be positive after 2 years. And if you're not doing really well, it means that yes, you need to work it out with your money first.
Excellent. Veronica, as
yes.
we know, the discussion there with I've had a mental blank now on my next question.
I'm just thinking about managing the cost as well.
That's right.
How can we do the cost management structure? Now, yes, it is one of the, again, finance is one of my favorite subjects when I used to study my MBA as well. And cost is one of the factors that we really need to control. I mean, when we look at all the big corporates, when they're cutting the cost, when the company is going down, the biggest thing or biggest risk they feel is the staff. And they always cut the staff. But end of the day, I personally feel that your cost has to be under control as well. So it's not all about the staffing, or it's not all about cutting the cost. It's all about spending your money wisely. So you spend a bit and you earn a bit as well.
Excellent. And sometimes it does take time for, obviously, the category starting a small business to get off the ground. Veronica, have you seen a trend in many people starting a small business part-time rather than full-time to help with cash flow management and to help them manage their startup costs?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was thinking about it in a slightly different way, if you don't mind. I wish more people would consider being partially employed and taking on a business part-time. So if you can picture a scale, as the business begins to gain traction, you can slowly back off work. Often people come to me and they're thinking of it in an either-or situation, which isn't always viable. Now, where this becomes particularly an issue is where people, if I may use the expression, bootstrap the business, so it's not funded correctly right from the word go. Ronak just gave a great example about, needing to be cash flow positive, for example, after 2 years, which means in reverse that you had to have right at the start planned to have X amount of cash to understand your establishment costs, what it would cost to run that business for 2 years, and to have ample cash to cover yourself in that time. If I give another little example, if somebody came to me and said, I'm about to sign a 6-month lease, my next question to that potential business owner is, well, do you have enough funds to cover the rent for the first 3 months, 4 months, or for the entire 6 months while you're giving this a go? So it's absolutely critical that potential business owners really understand their establishment costs if we're talking about a startup situation, and that it is better to stay employed and keep saving for another 1 to 2 years and then go into business rather than ignore those early red flags and go into business, bootstrapping their business when they're clearly underfunded and not ready to move into it full-time. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I know this is a public webinar, businesses failing, small business failure in the first 12 months is, as far as I understand, still around the 85 to 87% mark, and early stage funding is a significant part of that statistic.
So really, if you're a small business listening to our webinar today and you're not quite in your business full-time, you really shouldn't be shy about entering the WSABE Awards, should you? It's a great opportunity to work on your marketing plan, work on your finance plan, work on the overall business strategy, and enter the awards, even if you're not full-time employed in the business. I do believe there's certain criteria, though, around how long you've been in business and that you need to be a registered business. But there's really no shame in having a part-time business, is there, in this day and age?
Not at all.
Veronica? No.
In fact, I would imagine after 20 years in business, one might be aiming to be part-time in that business, if operational at all.
Excellent. What's your number one tip for taxation and business compliance, Ronan? You've had a lot of experience dealing with a number of different ways of setting up and structuring your business. What would be your number one tip?
I would really say consult one of the best accountant, your taxation agent, or your legal agent. Do not start your business without proper guidance, without proper documentation as well, because one thing that you spoil with your company with the paperwork, you can just close your business next day as well. So I really, really believe that we should contact the proper and the person who knows about the taxes and accounting and all the compliance issues, because I nowadays, we have a lot of things that people just ask for the papers, but fortunately we got everything, so we don't need to worry about that. But I heard a couple of people that, they just close the business because they're not compliant.
And unfortunately, on the legal side, that's where we have to come to the rescue quite often to help people who may have signed contracts without getting the advice of their trusted legal or accounting partner, and so on. So, yes, totally agree with that. We might move on now because we would like to keep our webinar as short and as light as possible. There's so many issues that are coming up here that I'm sure we'll be able to do another couple of webinars on these topics. People, attracting and retaining compliance management growth. Our time is so limited in today's world. We're all so busy. but it is a really important part of business, is it not, Veronica, that we really need to put some focus on the people and how we manage them?
Yes, absolutely. Certainly in my own experience, without staff there was no business because I was in a service industry. And I think it's really important. It relates as well to your previous compliance topic, where if you get all the basics right to begin with, you reach out for help and find that support for your business, and there's plenty of support out there. Your accountant, your lawyer, your business advisory service, which is funded by the government, such as ourselves. In a broader context, you can't go wrong. So you attract the right people, it makes it much easier to manage and retain the right people.
That's right, and I believe we'll be having a lot more detail about the areas of HR and OH&S over the next coming webinars. We've got, in particular, a work and safety one coming up soon. Now, your people are out on the road quite a bit, Ronak, so what sort of strategies have you put around that?
With the people, I can only say the best asset for any company is your employees. I used to work in the retail for 11 years, and sometimes people say it's very important that you get your customers in, and I personally against that tagline, because I always believe that your staff should be in your place, because if your staff is not there, who is going to open your doors? And your staff has to be perfect. Your staff has to be properly trained. Your staff must be knowing what they're doing. I mean, we have 20 trainers now, and we never had any turnovers within our teams. And I will be the first person to not happy if somebody put the resignation on table, because it's important to keep the good team with a good heart, and that's why the word of mouth is one of the biggest for marketing. So we save a lot of cost because our referral rate is 84%. So 84% of people taking the lesson, they come back to us with in matter of friends, families, or anybody they know.
So obviously a winning part of your entry would have been around your people management and how you take care of your staff. We were out looking at our Champion Legal Edible Garden recently and looking at all the nice fresh produce that our staff can eat at their lunch breaks. And you mentioned something to me about how you take care of your staff because they are out on the road. Can you tell the audience a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's really good experience to talk about the gardens. Now, when I entered before this webinar, we went on the good balcony of Champion Legals, and we were looking on the Parramatta River view, and I was just speaking to Michelle for a minute that this is what we started with our driving school. Every 2 hours of driving lesson, all our instructor has to stretch themselves for 10 minutes, or they have to go for a walk, or they just get a fresh air. They have to come out of the car. And this is what we try to do. This is what we try at our driving school, something different. That because if your people are fresh, they can deliver the fresh approach to the people, and people can smell that. I mean, we don't need to tell the people, guys, you know, I'm fresh. People can smell that. People can see on your face whether you're happy or you're smiling. And this is the biggest formula of any business. To keep your people happy, you need to smile.
So, Veronica, it's certainly a trend we're seeing out there, whether it be Ronak's Onroad Driving School making sure and enforcing breaks for their drivers to keep them fresh, or whether it's Champion Legal's Edible Garden. People really need to do something outside the square in this day and age to attract and retain their best workers. Yes?
Yes, I agree. Look, I agree. And as a business owner, you also walk the line between having the time to engage staff in such a way that's useful for the staff member, understanding their expectations. For particular staff members, you know, is this a job for them? Is it a career or is it a calling? And understanding that each employee has a different viewpoint on what their job is all about. So we can never take a one-size-fits-all set of incentives, if you will, but it's important to understand those staff on an individual level. You always walk the line in this day and age. Business is changing, competitors come and go, things change within industry very quickly. So it's also about engaging the whole of staff, the whole of business, and really bringing them on board in terms of innovation and creativity. So creativity, new ideas, new solutions to existing problems, where you want to take the business. your employees should be an integral part of that journey. And at the same time, on the flip side, business owners need to be really clear, set their expectations from the moment someone is employed, setting expectations early and maintaining those expectations. Sometimes the worst thing we can do as business owners is to be inconsistent in what we expect from our employees. So that's the other side of the equation.
That's great. So an award-winning entry perhaps built around a staff engagement policy, innovation, creativity, being consistent with your message, I think is very important. And resourcing, of course, in this modern world then, it's not just about being in an office and paying rent or even working full-time. There's working from home, there's outsourcing, there's in-housing, as I've mentioned here on the slide. How are you using your resources a bit differently, Ronak?
We use mostly outsourcing because our business doesn't need office. Our business doesn't need to be in a fixed locations where people come and take a driving lesson. We provide the lessons at customers' prices. So in reality, in all honesty, we don't have office. We are one of the top 3 driving schools in Sydney, but we don't have an office, and we don't need to. But saying that, we got one of the best call center, which is based in Sydney, and they do a great job. I mean, when people ring, they can find out where they're ringing. They can get a proper answer, and this is what our customers want. And so we're using the technologies, we're using the virtual offices facilities, we're using our proper call center. So rather than we spend the cost on the office environments, we really want to spend the cost on the staffing where we need the proper servicing over the phone, because 99.9% of our customers, they ring and they book the lessons, or they send an email and they ring and then we call them back. So we're using the resources in a way that what the business needs. Growth, yes, when we are growing the business, we might need our admin office, but so far we're doing okay. I mean, I always believe in the cost again. I'm going back 10 minutes before and we talk about cost analysis, and this is where I need to save my cost. I'm happy to spend more on our call center, but I'm not happy to spend the cost on the office environment because I don't need that in my business. So it depends on everybody's business, whether you need an office, yes or no, whether you need this environment, yes or no. Sometimes people just show off in the business. We really don't require that. You always need to look for the positive cash flow.
So resources, Veronica, it's always one of the most limited areas and a big challenge for small business. Ronak's given a great example of using latest technology and latest ways of working. What advice would you give to a small business starting out with limited resources?
Oh, that's a great question. And Ronak, can I just say, I really enjoyed the example that you just gave. It was fantastic. I found myself taking notes, if that's okay. So it is a challenge. Really, honestly, Ronak, well done. That's just fabulous. And you've tapped into the core of the nature of business in this day and age about being flexible and, you know, thinking about where to save costs, but at the same time just not accepting, you know, this is the way we've always done something, trying new things, delivering new technologies or delivering service and products in a new way is critically important, and obviously has not impacted on your business at all, and is in fact allowed you, as you said, to focus where you need to be, and has allowed the business to grow. There's a concept I like to introduce with my businesses when I'm advising, and it's the concept of opportunity cost, which is what Ronak's just been talking about. So if you're a startup or you've been in business for, say, less than 3 years and resources are pretty tight, when we talk about opportunity costs, the question I will ask businesses is this: if you put your money toward this office space, for example, at what cost does that prevent you from putting this money someplace else? And businesses with limited resources always, and with plentiful resources actually, always have to ask themselves that question 2 ways. Is this the best use of my time? And is this the best use of my funds?
That's great advice, yes. The tricky question.
Yeah, no, very nice, Veronica.
And of course, in terms of then external resources for your business as well, I mean, you don't just have to outsource and you don't just have to hire staff, you don't have to pay rent, etc. We've got great resources in our community, particularly your Small Business Connect Centre, Veronica.
Yes, thank you. Is this a chance for me to plug what we do now, Michelle?
Great chance. The small business site that you've got with all the information will be a great source for people looking into the WSABE Awards this year to get some inspiration and guidance. Can you tell us a little bit more about what people expect from your online services?
Okay, so it's online and it's face-to-face. And look, I need to make the point, I suppose, that there is so much support available for business at federal level and at state level and at local government level. For example, here in Parramatta, Parramatta Council has a wonderful initiative called the Activate Parramatta program, which I encourage businesses to take a look at. At state level, you have the Small Biz Connect program, which I operate under out of the University of Western Sydney. Most people wouldn't realise that each and every business, up to 20 full-time employees, that's fairly flexible, businesses that identify as small, are actually entitled to a level, usually for our centre, about 6 to 8 hours of no cost, 100% subsidised business advice around the topics that matter to that particular business. Most people don't know that that service is available, but it's important that everybody knows about it and can take that up if they need it. There's a whole range of online resources, the New South Wales State Government's toolkit that also supports the face-to-face advisory, and then the federal government has a range of online and federal programs as well. So get on your computer, look at Dr. Google, have a look at what's out there, think about giving us a call if you're local and considering entering the WSABEs, and let's see how we can plug you into our service and the broad variety of other programs and initiatives that are out there to help business.
That's great. Thanks, Veronica. We had another topic, but time's getting away from us. Getting out, begin with the end in mind, creating leverage, succession planning, and selling your business. But I think that's a whole other topic that we can come back to, and probably less of a focus for our small businesses out there looking to enter the awards. So stay tuned on that topic. I think there's some merit in that one. I'm sure Ronak's already thinking about retiring to a beach somewhere and living the life, yes?
That's right,
yes.
That's right.
Sign of a successful business person. So thank you, Veronica, and thank you, Ronak, for joining us today as panellists for our WSABE 2014 webinar series number 2.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us. I can only say to all the audience that if you want your business to be still up and running after 2 years, please enter. Please enter in the WSABE Awards, because awards are something that it will boost your confidence, it will boost your morale, and you telling yourself when you be finalist or winner that you have achieved something in the business. Thank you.
And thank you, Veronica. We'll certainly post some information about your Small Business Connect site to our WSABE support forum, where many of the listeners will be tuning into our webinar over the next coming days.
Thank you. And Michelle, if I just could, thank you for having me here this afternoon. And Ronak, it's been an absolute pleasure hearing your story, and I look forward to meeting you face-to-face very soon.
Same here.
Excellent. So just to wrap up to our audience, obviously we've heard a lot of great benefits to entering the awards today. Check out Onroad's website, onroad.com.au. You'll see all of the beautiful awards there on the front page, so full credit to Ronak for all the great work there. We'll be going into more detail about your entry coming up as we get closer to May 1, and the entry forms become public and available for us to review. And we'll revisit this topic then, challenges for small business, looking at who could possibly be the category winner for 2014. I'm sure there's some more depth that we can go into. We've only done the tip of the iceberg today with some great stories and information and from Ronak and Veronica today. For more inspiration and sharing knowledge, you can tune in every Wednesday from 4 p.m. until the close of entries at championlegal.webex.com. And of course, please join us on the WSABE support forum. Ask your questions. You can even private message the admin at WSABE if you've got some questions that you would like to raise but not publicly, and we can address them on this webinar series or with a general message on that support forum. You do need to have completed your expressions of interest to join, and we look forward to reading all of your entries over the coming months. So thanks for listening.